Welcome back to NBA Today. Tim Legler and Matt Barnes with me in studio. Should we talk about Ja Morant a little bit? Let's do it.
Don't ever get tired of talking about Ja Morant.
Absolutely not, especially when he is on the tear like he has been. So the Grizzlies, they were hosting the Bulls. Ja Morant, so he's tripped up here by Tony Bradley, and this leads to a little bit of a back and forth here. They get into it, an altercation, shoving, grabbing. Steven Adams, watch him in the corner there. He pulls Bradley away. Watch it again. So he gets tangled up there, Matt. What do you see?
That's how I pick my 3-year-old up when he does something wrong in the room and I need to get him away. This is unbelievable.
I mean, Steven Adams is just looking incredibly strong here.
Yeah.
Here's Ja Morant after the game.
Steven Adams literally picked him up
As he should.
and carried him to the other side of the court.
As he should.
You like having a guy like that on your team?
Yeah, because I do the same for him. That's how I was raised.
Well, we can't talk about the Grizzlies and not bring in the president of the Ja Morant fan club, so we're going to get to Kendrick Perkins in just a little bit. But, I mean, where does this rank on Ja Morant plays for you, Matt Barnes?
I mean, he gives us, we're in for a real treat. I mean, he does this every single night, so just add this to the list.
Well, and the list is growing longer by the day. I mentioned him already, and there is the president, the man, the myth, the legend of the Ja Morant fan club. It is Kendrick Perkins. So, Perk, I know you like the flash that Ja brings to the game, but I also know that the grittiness, the not cute stuff, that matters a little bit more to you. So what impressed you the most? Was it the 360 dunk or the willingness to fight 6'10" Tony Bradley here?
Well, he already warned us that he's not afraid of anybody, so that wasn't a surprise about with him and the young man Tony Bradley getting into it. But the 360 spin move, like, are we going to continue to see highlights from him every single night? The answer is yes. And I'm not just on Ja Morant. I'm completely on the dark side. And I have an open invitation to you, Tim Legler, and Matt Barnes to come and join before it's too late. Matter of fact, Malika, why are you and I the only people on this toolbox? Where is J.J. Redick right now? Where's J.J. Redick?
Does he have an invitation to the dark side? There he is.
I don't get an invitation,
There you
Perk.
go. So, hold on, J.J., you my guy. So listen, 2 weeks ago, I mentioned to you, and I tried to be nice. I told you that Ja was in the MVP conversation. I told you about everything, how special he was, and you said he's not in the MVP conversation. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right now, 2 weeks later, to retract this and come on over to the dark side, jump on the Ja Morant, the G12 train, and go ahead and admit and say, you know what, Perk? I was wrong. He actually is in the MVP conversation.
Hey, Perk, let's just be very clear about what I said. I said he wasn't at the time in the top 5 in my MVP estimation. But yeah, he can be part of the conversation. That's fine, Perk. I'll agree with you. He can be part of the conversation.
So that means he's on the dark side or not?
No, I mean, he still the way JJ said it, his attitude.
Contradicting.
We haven't really I don't really know yet. He got to give me a little bit more
Mysterious
energy
is the
today.
dark side of the moon
Perk,
over
we
there.
talked about this, Perk. I love Ja Morant. I've been talking
I know
about the Grizzlies since last spring. I love the Grizzlies and what they've built there. I just don't he's not the MVP right now, man. That's okay. It's okay. He's having a great season. He should be first team All-NBA.
But JJ, let me ask you a question. Who is the MVP right now? Because the MVP, you have to be winning along with putting up numbers. Kevin Durant's not doing that. Steph Curry has been struggling. DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls have been struggling. So right now, tell me who is playing better basketball? And by the way, the NBA came out with their rankings today, and guess who's the number 1 team in the power rankings? The Memphis Grizzlies. So I'm saying right now, today, what's today is? January the what?
It's the 18th.
The 19th? I need you to make it clear to me who is over Ja Morant right now for us being the front runner, and why?
Again, Perk, I'm going to go back to this. In their run, in this current run they've had, they're 11-2 without him. Okay, that's just a fact. That hurts his case for MVP. That does. I want to pose a question, actually, on that topic of MVP. Hold on a second.
Wait for you to say that.
This is one of the weirdest seasons so far when we talk about MVP, because this has changed week to week. And if you did an MVP vote right now, there could be 6 or 7 guys that would get a first-place vote. We've seen in the last few years unanimous MVPs. We've seen 1 or 2 guys get first place votes. This thing is definitely wide open. I agree with. I just don't have Ja Morant as the MVP. That's all.
He's not giving a specific name. It's just not Ja Morant.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.